for time. Could we all please rise for the Right Honourable the Lord Mayor of Perth, Mr Basil Zemplis.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the City of Perth August 2023 agenda briefing session. I'll formally declare this session open at 5:02 p.m. Can I respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet, the Whadjuk Noongar people of Western Australia. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. It is a privilege to be standing on Whadjuk Noongar land. And CEO, can I ask you, while we are all up, please to recite the prayer.
Almighty God, under whose providence we hold responsibility for this city, grant us wisdom to understand its present needs, foresight to anticipate its future growth, and grace to serve our fellow citizens with integrity and selfless devotion. And to thee be all blessing and glory forever. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, everybody. Please be seated. All righty. Gee, Councillor Bevan, lonely over there again. Aftershave. So, everybody, please note that in accordance with Council Policy 1.4, this meeting is being live streamed and is accessible wherever you might be around the world. The recording will be made available on the City's website following the meeting. So let's go through attendance. And moving on to item 3, that is attendance. In attendance today, the Deputy Lord Mayor, Liam Gobbett. Good afternoon, Liam. Councillor Sandy Angie. Hello, Sandy. Councillor Clyde Bevan, all on his own. Hello, Clyde. Councillor Rebecca Gordon has advised me just a few moments ago that is in a meeting at work and it may be difficult to get away. So it is quite possible that Councillor Gordon will not be here today. And Councillor Catherine Leeser, hello, Catherine. Councillor Coe is in an apology. Councillor Brent Fleeton is currently on an approved leave of absence. I'll remind councillors to please submit any applications for a leave of absence prior to next week's ordinary council meeting. In addition, I welcome the Chief Executive Officer, other officers and any members of the public or media in attendance or watching on live stream. And I do note that General Managers Alan Mason and Melissa Murphy are both away today and unwell. We wish them a speedy recovery. Item 4 is announcements by the Lord Mayor, and as is customary, I shall save those until the ordinary council meeting next week. So item 5, disclosures of interest. CEO, have we had any disclosures received?
Yes, Lord Mayor, the following interests have been disclosed. Councillor Catherine Leeser disclosed a proximity interest in item 11.2 as her apartment at 22 St George's Terrace is directly in the helicopter flight path as proposed. Councillor Catherine Leeser has disclosed a proximity interest in item 12.3 as her apartment is directly adjoining Perth Concert Hall, the venue named in the item. Councillor Catherine Leeser has disclosed a proximity interest in item 12.4 as her apartment is adjoining the Government House Ballroom, which is mentioned in Opera in the City of Perth. Councillor Catherine Leeser has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 12.4 as she has attended an event at Barking Gecko, which was a declared gift to the value of $300. The Lord Mayor has disclosed an indirect financial interest in item 14.1 as he is an employee of 7 West Media, for which Australian Capital Equity is a major shareholder. General Manager Community Development Carly Johnson has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 12.4 as Tabitha McMullen, representing Form, previously worked at the City of Perth until mid-2021. During Tabitha's time at the City, she reported to the General Manager Community Development. The General Manager has met with Tabitha a couple of times at events and for coffee since she left the city. General Manager Planning and Economic Development, Dale Page, has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 11.3 as Paul McQueen from Lavin Legal is known to her personally. She has had no engagement or interaction with Paul McQueen in the assessment of their application or preparation and review of the report. I have disclosed an impartiality interest in item 12.3 major events and festival sponsorship Perth Festival 2024, as I have invited Nathan Bennett, the Executive Director of Perth Festival, to participate as a panel member for a role that the City has advertised, and I am the Chair. Nathan brings expertise and insight to the panel to assist in making a good appointment. Councillor Clyde Bevan has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 11.3, as Grand Hotel Management were his landlords at the Hyatt Centre for 22 and a half years.
Thank you. Thank you very much, CEO. Yes, everyone, just calm down for one moment. As I say, are there any disclosures of interest from the floor? Councillor Angie.
Thanks, Lord Mayor. I've got a series of impartiality interests. So 11.1, Amendment number 50, impartiality. Hames, Charlie and Hugh Mitch Group are both known to me, and I've met with them, with representatives on several occasions over the past 3 years, however not in relation to the matter before us. 11.4, Sustainable City Report. I was introduced to representatives of Kundal while on the campaign trail, in fact, in recent weeks, and they invited me to an event last week, which I attended. 12.2, Review of Policies, Commemorative Works, Impartiality. I'm part of a team behind the statue of Edith Cowan to be installed in the city. This has already been approved by the city, but just flagging the impartiality. 12.3, Perth Festival, impartiality. I've met with Ian Grandage on several occasions over the last 3 years and attended events, both as in my capacity as a councillor and also purchased tickets over the last 3 years. 12.4, Arts and Culture, impartiality in relation to a number of the sponsorship applicants in relation to form. Tabitha McMullen and Form were involved in the Perth Design Week I organised this year. I'm a current donor of Barking Gecko Theatre Company, and I've recently received an invitation to the Leicester Prize event, and I've attended this event over the past couple of years in my capacity as a councillor. 12.5, West Tech Fest, impartiality. I attended an event to represent the city and deliver a speech, and in subsequent events purchased my own ticket and attended. And 19.1, approval of lease, the confidential item. Impartiality, I've met with the leaseholder and also other tenants over the last couple of years.
Thank you, Councillor Angie. And Deputy Lord Mayor.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Sorry, just jumping around a bit. Declaration of interest for impartiality for 12.3 major events and festival sponsorship, Perth Festival 2024. As I attended a number of events from Perth Festival on behalf of the city. I also want to declare an impartiality interest for item 12.4, Arts and Culture Sponsorship 2324, for the name of the persons or entities being Form, Blue Room, Barking Gecko, Strut, Wasso, Perth International Cabaret Festival. The nature of the interests are that I attended events held by Form, Strut, Perth International Cabaret Festival as the city's representative in accordance with the attendance at events policy. No associations have been formed, and this represents an impartiality interest only. I'm a member of the Blue Room Theatre. Employees of Wasso are known to me, and I have met with representatives of the PICF to understand their operations prior to them lodging their grant. And I'm just bringing up one final declaration as well. So just bear with me 2 seconds, changing screens. Technology.
Take your time, Deputy Lord Mayor. I want to rush you through this.
In relation to 11.1, preparation of amendment number 50 to City Planning Scheme number 2, new special control area. It is an impartiality interest as I met with Mr. Hugh Mitch prior to the lodgement of the development application that was later determined at the Development Assessment Panel. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Lord Mayor. Are there any further disclosures from the floor from any elected members? Councillor Bevan, Councillor Leeser? Well, that would be a no. Okay, so item 5 on the agenda we've just done. Item 6 and 6.1, public questions. And now public question time will be held at the ordinary council meeting next week. The 6.2 is deputations. Now, see, I know we have a number of deputations. I'm informed by our very hard-working team that some people were having some difficulty coming up. So what we will do is we'll give those people time, obviously, because we know they're in the building. You might go through the deputations and then we'll look for an indication of who's present and then we'll go through them in that order, because I think that's sensible, isn't it? It's
Thank
hard
you.
for them to give the deputation if they're still in the foyer.
Correct, Lord Mayor, and I will speak slowly. We have received 9 deputations. 1 deputation relating to item 11.3, preparation of amendment number 51 to the City Planning Scheme number 2 to introduce an additional use healthcare 2 to 99 brackets lot 10 close brackets Adelaide Terrace 10 and 40 open brackets lots 11 and 12 close brackets Terrace Road East Perth. 3 deputations relating to item 12.4 arts and culture sponsorship 2023-24. 1 deputation relating to item 12.3 major events and festival sponsorship Perth Festival 2024. 2 deputations relating to item 12.5 2023-24 economic development sponsorship West Tech Fest and Singularity U Perth. 1 deputation relating to item 14.1 Altona Laneway open brackets part 100 on P1419 close brackets West Perth property disposal outcome of local public notice, and 1 deputation in relation to item 11.2 final adoption of amendment number 47 to City Planning Scheme number 2 and amendment number 5 to Local Planning Scheme number 26 normalised redevelopment areas Royal Perth Hospital Flight Path Protection Special Control Area.
Thank you, CEO. I'm just going to remind all of those giving a deputation there's a 5-minute limit, but I'll advise as we go so we can be sure that everybody who's about to step forward has heard that information. So I'm going to check firstly, is Mr McQueen and Mr Simpson, are they right at the front, gentlemen? Well done. Perfect. So Mr Paul McQueen, Mr Peter Simpson representing Lavin and PTS Town Planning respectively, speaking for the recommendation in item 11. 3. I ask you both to come forward. Is this a collaborative approach? One deputation of 5 minutes, or are you each giving a separate deputation?
A collaborative approach.
Oh, that is magnificent. Thank you very much, Mr McQueen. Thank you, Mr Simpson. If you could give us your names, your addresses, and your time will start.
Thank you very much, Lord Mayor. My name is McQueen. I'm counsel for the proponent of the amendment. I'm at Lavin, which is a ratepayer within the city, 1 William Street.
Good to have you along.
Peter Simpson from PTS Town Planning, 326 Rockaby Road, Subiaco.
Thank you.
Lord Mayor, members of the council, this is a relatively short deputation from me because respectfully we embrace the content of the report to the council and we're here primarily to answer any questions. Once again, respectfully, I, from a legal perspective, agree with the report in the sense that it portrays the amendment as standard, and there are no significant implications, whether amenity or otherwise, that would underpin a lack of support for the amendment. It's important that I point out the degree of commitment to the proposal from my client because Ms Lim, who is the General Counsel of the parent company, flew from Singapore last night to be at the meeting today. I also have another senior executive member of the team, Mr who's a vice president of the parent company. So my clients are here together with me and Mr Simpson to answer any questions you may have of us in terms of the commercial aspects subject to confidentiality. We are committed to the project. We are grateful for the time and effort put in by the officers, supportive of the report itself, and would welcome any questions from you, from the councillors, and we very politely seek your support for the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I thought I might just provide some context to the amendment. Obviously, the works down at the Hyatt Centre, as it was previously known, involves a redevelopment refurbishment of the podium buildings, and these have been ongoing for a bit of time now. The first stage of works for the childcare centre, the gym, and the new entrance from Terrace Road, and there's been substantially completed. We're just entering into the second stage, which involves a 1,000 square metre supermarket and other facilities down there. So the actual site itself is coming along. This amendment will enable the provision of the healthcare on the southern portion of the site, and that's the residential zone portion. The intent is to repurpose the squash courts for operating theatres. Yes, it does sound a bit funny, but apparently I'm told they actually work very well in terms of adaptation for theatres. And at the moment, the squash courts and the facility will straddle the boundary. So we're seeking, and therefore it wouldn't be permitted on the southern portion of the site. So we're seeking that additional use. As identified in the report, this will occupy existing built form, and therefore there'll be no amenity impacts to adjoining owners. The car parking is already established, and the access is already established, so there's no traffic impacts. A medical facility is entirely appropriate for the site and the locality, and will assist in improving the community facilities in this area of the city. So we look forward to your support for the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Please remain at the podium if you will. I will just remind councillors, if there's any questions in relation to this deputation, now is the opportunity. But a reminder that if councillors do have any questions of the administration in relation to the deputations relating to the item on the agenda, please reserve these until the item is or items are tabled for questions. And can I take this opportunity to acknowledge Ms Lynn and Mr Toe, and we thank you very much for being here, and welcome to the City of Perth, and we thank you for your interest in tonight's proceedings. And if, as we've heard, that is accurate, that you've come down to be with us tonight, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'll invite any my fellow councillors if there are any questions that anybody would like to ask. Very thorough deputation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lord Mayor.
Thank you. I'm now going to invite Ms Laura Motherway, Ms Tabitha McMullen, a familiar name to this chamber, and Claudia Ottobrino, representing Form, who are speaking for the recommendation in item 12.4. Just as you're coming forward, Councillor Leeser, this is your time to vacate the chamber due to a matter that you have already raised with us. Thank you. Impartiality? Yeah. Proximity. Thank you. Proximity. Okay. Okay. Welcome. And if you could give us your name and address. I see you're representing the team, so the 5 minutes will be yours. If you could give us name and address, and then you're away.
Sure. Laura Motherway, 39 Gougerie Street, Claremont. And I'm representing Form. I would really like to sincerely thank you, the City of Perth administration, in particular the community development team, for their recommendation to support our application. We would really love this opportunity to provide the councillors full context of the application and what the benefits to the City of Perth community we propose to achieve with the funding. So for the first time this year, Form will move the Scribblers program from the City of Subiaco to the City of Perth. And this is a significant and strategic move for Scribblers and for the City of Perth, and will really greatly benefit the whole of the City of Perth community. We have moved the event as we see this as an opportunity to help reframe the young people's relationship with the CBD and to showcase the city as a vibrant hub. We know that youth engagement in social and economic pathways in urban centres is becoming increasingly challenging, and this event really does aim to help shift this. The event will also demonstrate how accessible, dynamic and welcoming the City of Perth is and how inviting it can be for families. This is a pivotal moment for Form to establish a new and long-term strategic partnership with the City of Perth. As mentioned, we commend the work of the administration. You have read the agenda papers and you will see that we have presented a rather conservative application in alignment with the sponsorship guidelines. However, we would really love to take the opportunity to let you know what a difference a slightly increased commitment from the City of Perth would have for this event. A total contribution of $75,000 plus in-kind sponsorship will allow us to increase the scope of our marketing for this program. Both Form and the City both have impressive owned media channels, which we can leverage to communicate the event. However, the additional $25,000 will directly support important media and marketing spend to ensure that we attract significant and, most importantly, diverse visitation during the activation. Will also help to secure the City of Perth exclusive naming rights as the partner for the Metro program. And this will differentiate the program from the regional Scribblers programming and will really deliver significant profile benefits for the City of Perth. I've just returned from the Pilbara and I have seen firsthand the impact that the Scribblers Storytelling Festival can have on councils that are really deeply embedded in this program, and it's been really exciting to see. It will also help to increase the profile of the city through increased benefits. So this is something that we can work through with our marketing teams. So we see this new partnership as an opportunity to establish a longer, more strategic relationship that will help phase and plan the growth of this event. Form is a non-profit charitable organisation, and every dollar we raise for our community programming goes to increasing the quality and the depth of our programs and the benefit for our community. A 3-year commitment will provide certainty and remove the admin process of the applications for both parties. And we're happy to review the partnership after 1 year if it hasn't been successful for either party, we can end the agreement. So to reiterate, we are seeking $75,000 plus in-kind support each year for 3 years to ensure the collaborative and strategic alignment between Form and the City of Perth as the new home of the Perth Scribblers Festival. Tabitha and myself are both available to answer any questions that you might have, and sincerely, I'd love to thank you for your time tonight. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Ms. Motherway. And we sincerely would like to thank you as well for being here with your team. I might go first. So just rereading our papers, you asked for $60,000, is that correct? And you have been, and the amount that our city staff are recommending is $60,000. So the extra 25 that you're asking for, that's not what you asked for, correct?
Correct.
You're just asking for that tonight.
Yeah, we have. Do you want to explain the rationale behind it? Is there a little?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I just want to say that we really commend the officer's recommendation. We're very happy with the officer's recommendation, and we really thank the team for working with us to put that forward. We acknowledge basically the confines of the sponsorship policy. We have under $50,000 aligns with the levels of attraction of visitation that the event attracted when it was at Subiaco. Mm-hmm. So we basically were aligning the ask with the amount of visitation that went to Subiaco. However, we do feel that if we did have this additional marketing spend, along with naming rights from the City of Perth, it would have the potential to deliver increased visitation. So essentially, we're asking just for consideration. Again, we're completely happy with the officer's recommendation, but if there was some discretion and some interest to enter into that naming rights partnership for consideration to hopefully drive that increased visitation and push it above that $50,000 threshold.
Understood. Can I just ask also, so when you made the application, did you know at that time you were moving from Subiaco to the city?
At the time, we were essentially looking at options. Essentially, the partnership with Subiaco wasn't as embedded as we would have hoped. We thought that it was time to look for a place that might attract a more diverse audience, be a bit more accessible to a more diverse audience across the metro area. And so we started some conversations with a number of councils and thought that City of Perth was the best home for the Scribblers moving forward.
Welcome home, Tabitha. Welcome home. Just one final one from me. It would appear as though the initial request, as well as being for $60,000, was also for 2 years. That was the initial request?
Yes. As I understand, that might be the max at the time.
Sure. Okay. So requested 60 and 2 years and got 60 and 2 years.
It's a very generous recommendation from the administration. Thank you.
Are there any further questions from any councillors? Thank you very much for being here.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. So thank you, Laura. Thank you, Tabitha. And Claudia, we acknowledge you, even though you didn't make it onto your feet, but we know you were there supporting the team. Thank you very much. We're going to move on now to deputation Number 3. Now, Councillor Leeser stays out with the proximity interest that has been declared. I'm going to invite Ms Annie Silverstein, representing the Leicester Prize, who is speaking for the recommendation in item 12.4 to come forward too. Annie, good evening to you. Lovely to see you again. If you could give us your name and your address, and then your time will start. Thank you.
Annie Silverstein, 47 Sterling Highway, Netherlands. Thank you very much for having me tonight. The Leicester Prize has become quite a big prize nationally, and as long-term supporters of the prize, the city of Perth can take some credit for its growth. And there's a huge buzz around the prize. You may have heard just recently there's a publicity and promotion from the ABC with a promotion going on, which is a bit of fun. And the portraiture is very popular in Australia, and prizes are popular as well. And perhaps we all just love competition in much the same way that we're all now experts in women's soccer. We all quickly become armchair experts in portraiture because it's an art form that's relatable and accessible. At any moment during the exhibition, when people are visiting, they all want to share an opinion which they consider the best portrait and why the judges have got it wrong. And it's great fun and a huge buzz. And each year there's a great diversity in the selection. It's never possible to predict the variety. And while it's fun to share our opinion, it also can be something more as we contemplate the story of the sitter or the artist. It's a moment to reflect on some of the qualities that make us human and the connectivity that an artistic skill can ignite in us. The Leicester Prize has a reputation of being one of a prize of integrity. We live and breathe our values, and the staggering 950 entries this year reflects our popularity. The prize money is now significant, and I might add that this attracts artists, but none of this is supplied by the City of Perth. So that's the shiny bit of the prize. What is less known and less understood is our commitment to community engagement. It includes our youth prize, encouraging spectacular youth talent from around Australia, and is held at WA Museum. Our community engagement strategy involves working with suburban councils and bringing busloads of people from local areas to see the prize. We're in our second year of working with Armidale and Joondalup councils, and this year we'll be moving to increasing the numbers with Fremantle, Melville and Victoria Park. Our program is not just about showcasing art, it's designed to create lasting change. We found that developing ongoing relationship with underserved councils, we can build bridges and foster understanding, encourage creative process and rewarding them with easy access to portraiture. We're able to encourage them to come to the city to see the exhibition. Councils and individuals are thrilled with this opportunity, and the more people engaging and voicing their opinion is better for us. So it's in all of our interest to have a vibrant creative ecosystem, and the Leicester Prize is giving opportunities to artists and audiences, and the engagement with it can be exciting and moving at the same time. So we would look forward to your continued support to continue the upward trajectory of the artistic buzz in the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your deputation. Annie, thank you. And I'll invite any of my fellow elected members if there's any questions that you might have for Ms Silverstein. Yes, Deputy Lord Mayor.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Ms Silverstone, thank you. My read of the recommendation in front of us is that you're if essentially seeking the $80,000, which of that there's a $30,000 shortfall. Where is the program deficiency? What are we not going to see that you've applied for? Where's what are we not going to get out of that missing amount of money if the full amount that you're seeking isn't granted?
Well, that will be interesting, what we will have to pull back on. what I'd be doing is going to private investors to see, because we are committed to some extent. We could do less. It's absolutely not set in stone how many buses are coming just now. So if we hear that there's less money, we'll put a sort of a hold on the number of buses that we bring through and what we offer the councils. But yes, the other we're fairly committed to this program.
Thank you. And appreciate the commitment on that. I'm just trying to understand if you could maybe offer some more insight into the activities that would be occurring in the city that might otherwise not be occurring in the city, or if they're occurring outside of the city.
It is just bringing people into the city to view the Lester Prize. So encouraging. I mean, a lot of the time we have building relationships. We're doing workshops out in the suburbs, and then because of the relationship, we bring them in at the time, and that is the program, I suppose. And for the broader community, it is advertising and marketing and getting people to come and join in with our workshops and artist talks and the various things that we have in the city around the exhibition.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if you're done, DLM? Yeah. The activities that take place outside in the suburbs, as you described, did they exist in previous years? The suburban activity?
No.
So this is the first year of the suburban activity.
We started this last year.
Yeah. That element of it.
Yes, that's right.
And that didn't exist previously in the city.
No.
It's
No.
first year last year, and last year it was also in the suburbs.
That's right.
Yep. And I wonder if I could ask, do you receive any other, you mentioned perhaps some corporate funding or some private donors and the like. Do you receive any funding from any other organisations, government or otherwise?
No.
Okay. So are we the most significant contributor?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's great. Are there any further questions from any councillors? No? Job well done. Thank you very much.
Look forward to seeing you all there.
Yes, so do we. Look forward to being there. Thank you very much, Annie Silverstein. We're going to go now to deputation number 4, and I'm going to invite James O'Hara and Sophie Burgoyne, representing Strut Dance, who are speaking for the recommendation in 12.4, to dance their way forward to the podium. Come on up. Thank you. A little shimmy. Beautiful. And team, if you could give us your names and addresses, and then it'll be a team 5 minutes. So just noting that Councillor Leeser remains out of the room, but staff members are staying in. Yeah, are we good? Yeah, just getting looks from over there, but probably admiring the Lord Mayor from a distance. Okay then, we are away. Names and addresses, thank you.
Can we just double check, is it personal addresses or organisation address?
It's our first time.
Yeah, look, just somewhere where we can find you in case you leave your dancing shoes there and we need to get them back to you. If we've got an address, we'll know how to get you.
Okay. Yep. So I'm Sophie Burgoyne, and Strut Dance is at 357 to 365 Murray Street at King Street Arts Centre.
Terrific.
And James O'Hara, same address.
Beauty. Thank you, Sam.
Strut Dance is a choreographic centre based here in Bolu, as we've just said, and we nurture and sustain a thriving community of diverse dance artists and connect them with audiences to share their work. Strut's vision is a local, national and global network of dynamic dance artists whose work reflects and contributes to our understanding of the world and celebrates dance as a driver of human connection. Strut welcomes and embraces artists and audiences from diverse cultural backgrounds, genders and abilities. James and I were appointed as the leadership of the organisation in 2022. We are the co-directors of Strut Dance. We bring a breadth of vision reflecting our respective careers. James has worked for 20 years with the most celebrated dance artists of our time, globally, on the world's greatest stages, and my independent dance practice has been focused on research, producing dance in regional Australia, and site-specific and festival curation. We wanted to take this moment to introduce ourselves as the co-directors of Strut to this first meeting that we attend together.
We are very grateful for the acknowledgement of the value of this project and very graciously accept the recommendation that will enable community connection and access to dance to so many. Perth Moves 2024 is a one-of-a-kind that creates a dance program that everyone and anyone can engage with. Whether you're a professional dancer, dance enthusiast, or someone who has never come across dance, there is something for everyone. So within Perth Moves, we will offer a feast of dance activations and engagements open to all, which will include a 3-week workshop series for dance artists with some of the world's most celebrated dance leaders at King Street Arts Centre. Alongside that, we will also offer a dance hub located in the courtyard of the State Theatre Centre of WA that will provide performances, social dance classes, events, free for all. This hub will sit alongside the Perth Festival and the Fringe Festival and local businesses as a central gathering place for dance and art lovers and all passers-by. The outdoor stage will transform throughout the day, from being a space of learning and interaction with meditation and yoga classes to performances by guest artists to a social dance space, offering Afro class, salsa classes, and an all styles, all ages dance battle. There was something really special last year when we did the first iteration of this, about witnessing the audience go through the transition of seeing a work, seated as a spectator, in awe of the craft, to participation, to a social gathering and engagement. So to see the audience at first very slowly and tentatively, and then eventually with no hesitation, get onto the stage and take claim of that space was incredibly special.
A small part of this grant is to fund our annual low-cost dance class program as well, which attracts approximately 5,000 dance enthusiasts into the CBD per year, including on weekday evenings and weekends. Perth Moves creates an opportunity for a small members-based organisation like Strut to broaden and increase our participants for these classes throughout the year, resulting in greater visitation for the city, as well as an uplift in the health and well-being of its citizens.
It is known that the dance sector here in Perth is hungry for more opportunities, but often is limited due to the available resources and capacity to create opportunities. Strut Dance, as a service organisation for the Perth dance community and public, focuses to generate opportunities that make the art form increasingly visible in every context and iteration for the benefit of all in the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I feel like a judge on Dancing with the Stars. I want to hold up a scorecard. And in fact, I prepared one. You got a 10. Thank you very much. Magnificent stuff. Thank you. Well done. And without wishing to preempt any decisions of council coming next week, already in the short time of the deputations that we've had, isn't it wonderful to see the array of arts and cultural events that the city is proposing we support? And it's absolutely brilliant to see the organisations represented here tonight, and there are more to come. So, Deputy Lord Mayor with his hand up first. Well played.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. It's a similar question to the previous presenter. You obviously read the report. I think it's on page 761 tonight under the assessment panel's commentary on your application. They're not requesting the full amount, just a little bit less. What's the impact going to be on your ability to deliver the program if it's $10,000 less?
Okay. So we did just have a quick think about that, listening to the question before. We think that, ultimately it would put strain on a very small team that we have to raise the extra funds, although we have been very successful in doing philanthropic campaigns for Perth Moves. We think that it would reduce our annual class program offering slightly. Maybe one class would come off, which would reduce the diversity of the offering that we have. So ultimately, that 10,000 does build that diverse program that we have, but it wouldn't greatly affect either of the programs. Ultimately, as an arts organisation, everyone in this room would know that we would just strive to get that 10,000 so that we can deliver the program as is.
Thank you. And a follow-up question, Lord Mayor?
Sure, Dion.
And is that an activity that you would otherwise be doing in the city that might bring people into the city, or is it something that would be occurring outside of the city?
Do you mean Perth Moves and the annual classes? Sorry, can you just say your question one more time?
Is what you're proposing entirely within the city?
Yes. Yes.
King Street Arts Centre and the State Theatre.
Centre Courtyard. Yep.
A bit of a Dorothy Dix of that one.
Thanks, TLM. Any further questions, councillors? Lovely job. James, Sophie, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well done, thank you. I'm going to now move to deputation number 5. Georgia Clark is with us, Anna Lee Norman, and we're all excited to see how Mr Ian Grandage has his hair arranged for his walk to the podium. So come on forward, team. Oh, it's up and about. As is our next guest, always. Mr Grandage, good evening. Name and address, please, if you could.
Good evening, Lord Mayor. I'm Mr Ian Grandage, 9 Taylor Street, White Gum Valley. Visit any time.
And just before you go on, Councillor Leeser stays out of the room. Proximity interest on this one. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you. Here we are, 9 floors above Wajak Noongar Budja, as I present the 2024 Perth Festival. As we stand here, I'd like to thank the staff of the City of Perth for their recommendation for the funding. What we do in telling stories of this place is celebrate the artists of this place and bring international artists to work alongside those artists. It feels like we're coming home in this 2024 festival, my final festival of my tenure. And in that festival, we're celebrating the biggest light of all in this city of lights, Ngank, the sun. The sun herself, it's a Noongar word that also means mother. And we begin with an opera inside His Majesty's. 80% of the Perth Festival program happens inside the boundaries of the city of Perth, and including, as you'll be pleased to know, our large free closing event Under the Same Sun, where we celebrate a series of First Nations artists and ask them to invite artists from around the country and around the world who they would like to collaborate with, and have a large-scale free concert down there at Supreme Court Gardens on a purpose-built stage to finish my 5-year tenure at Perth Festival. But across between those two, a dawn that happens inside His Majesty's and a sunset that happens down on Supreme Court Gardens, we activate the King's Hotel with a large-scale free activation of visual arts. So looking straight outside that window there, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day, there's 3 large-scale visual arts installations inside that place. We've been working hard alongside Jared and Soren in making sure that those events are done, and thank the Perth Festival team as we look at transforming that moribund building into a place that can be celebrated. We know there is an absolute wish amongst the Perth City councillors to make sure that this city is many things for many people, and that activation is emblematic about what we look for this city of ours to be, namely a place that's filled with vibrant storytelling and celebration of place. What there is inside that basement is a work of art built by Linda Tegg and Vivian Hansen that celebrates some of the old stories that live beneath. And so as you climb down into that basement, there is a sense of the wetland that was here before and how that wetland might be. As we think of those old stories, we also celebrate what the art of today is in performance and ideas programs inside the King's Hotel. We're not foregoing any of the bricks and mortar places inside the city of Perth either by hosting our entire contemporary music program inside Rackabites, and so that will continue after the success of the 2023 program. And then across every single festival, across every single night of the festival, we fill it with magnificent art, finally after many years of COVID interruption, with a lot of international work to alongside a series of beautiful local works that you'll see inside our papers. It's an immense privilege to hold this job. It's an immense joy to see amongst your staff the support with which they're recommending our presence here, and I'd like to thank you all for the opportunity to present to you all tonight.
Thank you very much, Mr Grandage. You mentioned that this is your last Perth Festival as Creative Director, is the correct title?
Artistic Director.
Artistic Director after, is it 6 years?
This will be the fifth.
The fifth.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we get other opportunities to thank you for your enormous contribution to this incredible festival in Perth, and your personal touch and the fact that you're a West Australian, you hail from here, you know the event, you know us, you know our spaces, you know our history, and the way that you have married all of those great things together has been something that all of Perth and those who have travelled for the Perth Festival have benefited from, and we have been very lucky to have you steering the ship. We will get the chance more formally to thank you, I'm sure, but congratulations on everything that you have achieved. Can I also thank you for recognising from the City of Perth, and I know you've listened when we've met on the 11th floor and the Lord Mayor has banged on about the Perth Festival, the Perth part of the Perth Festival being very important. And having the big events in Perth is really what makes the Perth Festival what it is. And thank you for recognising that. And to see so much of this year's program proposed to return to within the City of Perth boundaries is something we're all very pleased with. So I do want to thank you and your team for your considerable contribution. And may this be the best Perth Festival yet. There's no question there, just comments from the presiding officer. I will invite questions from any of my fellow councillors. Deputy Lord Mayor.
Thank you, Lord Mayor, and my apologies. In my haste to declare interests earlier, I hit over the page and missed one declaration. It is for the WA Opera, and the nature of that was that I, again, attended events held by WA Opera as the city's representative in accordance with the attendance at events policy. No association has been formed, and this represents an impartiality interest only. So I just needed to bring that to the meeting's attention.
Thanks, DLM. Thanks for clarifying. It's your earliest opportunity. Are there any questions for Mr. Grandage? You go with our thanks and blessing, Ian. Thank you very much. Thanks always being so supportive of the City of Light. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It almost felt like a round of applause would be appropriate then. I was just going to just sort of start one and see if you... We're going to go, if that's okay with everybody, to deputation number 7, just out of order by one, because Councillor Leeser is out of the room and has declared a proximity interest, so it makes sense while Councillor Leeser is out to go to Mr. Lewis Sugar, what a surname that is, and Carly Duff, representing Element and East Metropolitan Health Service, respectively, who are speaking for the recommendation in item 11.2 to please come forward. Lewis, with us?
Thank you, yes.
If you could give us your name and address, please.
Sure. Name is Lewis Sugar, level 18, 191 St George's Terrace, Perth.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you. I'm an associate at Element, representing East Metropolitan Health Service here tonight to express support for item 11.2 on the agenda, being the final adoption of Amendment 47 to City Planning Scheme number 2 and Amendment 5 to Local Planning Scheme number 26. This concerns the Royal Perth Hospital Royal Perth Hospital Flight Path Protection Special Control Area. Following the approval and construction of an upgraded helipad at RPH, Element have worked closely with East Metropolitan Health Service, the City of Perth, and a number of key stakeholders to determine the best flight path routes for emergency helicopter operations at Royal Perth Hospital and the State Medical Trauma Unit. This has included the City of Vincent, who last month formally supported the project and a portion of the flight path that traverses its local government area as part of Amendment 11 to its local planning scheme. The flight paths have been designed to support helicopter operations in the event of an engine failure, where they have only one functioning engine and reduce flight performance. The flight path alignments have been considered in detail, taking into account the following factors: adherence to all relevant aviation standards, minimising impact to land parcels by utilising major road and rail reservations, and incorporating the Swan River for a significant portion of the flight path area, and alignment with the existing planning framework to minimise the impact on development potential and strategically important land areas for the state, the City of Perth, Vincent and Development WA. Without protection, ongoing development within the city may impact the safety of operations into the future, especially where a helicopter is operating with one engine inoperable. This may ultimately lead to the helipad at RPH being decommissioned, and in turn impacts on the ability to treat patients who are in need of critical care. I'd like to thank the City of Perth for its ongoing support and assistance provided on this project over the past few years, and your support for these two amendments is respectfully requested. Thank you and happy to answer any questions.
Thanks very much, Lewis. Greatly appreciated. Elected members, anything for Mr. Sugar? No? Thank you very much. We appreciate you being here tonight. I'm going to invite Councillor Leeser if the General Manager could... Yes, thank you very much. Oh, there was a question, was there? Sorry.
Not for me?
Oh, like Councillor Gobbett just declaring another couple of impartiality.
Thanks, Mr. Sugar.
Sorry, I missed Element's name. So I've recently met with Representative Element, but not in relation to this matter. And I've just noticed Marion Birchall's name in relation to Singularity U. I've also recently met with Marion Birchall, but just now realised she's involved with Singularity U.
Thank you, Councillor Angie, also for bringing that to our attention at the first opportunity. Welcome back to Councillor Leeser. Thank you to those who are leaving us. And let's go to deputation number 6, inviting Ms Marion Birchall, representing Zola Holdings Proprietary Limited, who is speaking against the recommendation in item 12.5, to please come forward. Marion, welcome. If you could give us your name and address, and then you'll have 5 minutes. Thank you.
Wow, that's very tall. Marion Birchall, address PO Box 553. I hope you accept PO boxes. Cloverdale 6985.
Thank you.
Great, thanks. Firstly, I would like to thank the City for their support for our proposal. It's definitely greatly appreciated, both in 2021 when we delivered our pilot project and also as part of this particular initiative. I do think that Western Australia is a very lucky place. It's a fantastic place to work, live and play. And it's one of the reasons that my family and I chose to come here, and one of the reasons why I have remained in this wonderful state. However, I really feel like there are some complex challenges that we're going to be facing going forward. We have seen in recent reports that we are living in an ageing world. Western Australia's ageing population is at 22%, and this is expected to go up to 25% by 2031. And we can't rely on our usual tactics of immigration to fill this void, as according to the United Nations, people account for 1/5 of the population in 17 countries today, which is expected to increase to 61% of the world's population by 2100. And we will be competing for this skill shortage as a result of that. So we really need to be thinking a little bit differently. And this is one of the reasons why we want to bring Singularity U to Western Australia. For those of you who aren't aware, Singularity U is a global education institution that's based in Silicon Valley. It is renowned for its thought leadership and focused on expanding people's mindset. It's where global leaders go to look at the technology and innovation trends that are happening in the world and get a bit of a leg up on what they can do as part of their businesses. One of the things that I loved about the city's motto is Floreat, which is Latin for flourish and prosper. And the reality is that in order for us to do that going forward with some of these challenges, technology and innovation is going to be key. And that is really why we want to bring Singularity U here. We want to be able to have global thought leaders come to Western Australia and challenge us to think about what the future will look like, shift the mindset of Western Australians, help us adapt ethically to the adoption of these new technologies such as AI, and also deal with some of these complex challenges. Singularity U is renowned for using technology with humanity to deal with some of these complex challenges and is aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, looking at how do we use technology to impact everyone's lives for good, including addressing social issues such as disability, ageing populations, aged care, and defence as well. So these are some of the key challenges that we know are going to be quite important and have come out in the recent intergenerational report. Singularity U is very different to other events. It is focused on thought leadership, and this is why the fees are significant, because these global thought leaders do charge a lot of money because of their unique way of thinking and their ability to build capability. It's also very focused on horizontal trends. It's one of the things that we find people don't do a lot of, which is that scanning across 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, up to 50-year time horizons. And yet they're actually required for us to be able to position ourselves on the global scale. I'm going to try and get ahead of the Deputy Mayor's question about what would happen if we did not get the full amount, which is the recommendation in the report. What is currently recommended, the 20K, we will not be able to deliver what we had submitted. That's the reality of the matter. If we were going to run this event normally, it would cost in order of 56% more of what we've actually budgeted for. We've actually been very smart about how we're trying to leverage the talent that is going to be here already in Australia. It would actually cost north of $270,000 for us to run this event, but we've actually managed to reduce the cost by 56% based on the fact the speakers will already be in Australia. So we can save on airfares, and we're also getting reduced rates for speaker fees as well. At 20K, it's not possible to do an in-person event, and that's the reality of it. If, however,
About 5 minutes, so if you could just start to wrap up, thank you.
No worries. If there were options to have extra funding or in-kind support, such as venue and catering, then we might be able to do something with these amazing speakers that will be in country.
Thank you very much, Marion, and appreciate you sticking pretty close to the time limit. Thank you. I know you had a bit to say, and we appreciate you getting it all out. So I will invite questions from fellow councillors in just a moment. I might go first. So we've recently seen the state government commit large sums of money to the tech and energy sectors. Are you also applicants, or are you also seeking funding from state government?
This is a complicated question, Lord Mayor. So we did speak to a particular state government agency that has responsibility for technology and innovation. It got a little bit complicated. I asked them for a coffee to talk about this, and they thanked us for a formal application which they assessed, which we actually didn't submit because it was just a coffee email. So it demonstrated that they didn't have any clear governance or process because we hadn't submitted a formal application. And it's something that I intend to take up with the Director General of that particular organisation as a result.
Which department was it? Can you remember who?
I know the department, I just didn't want to name them.
Well, I think we could Google it in 30 seconds, but okay.
I think you can guess who it is based on what I said.
Okay, so you were going to ask for funding, but when you contacted them to ask how do we go about starting the process for a coffee, they said, thank you for your application.
For your formal application, which we have assessed, and I never actually submitted one.
That's interesting because my recollection is that about $148 million has been sort of set aside for tech and energy sector initiatives. So you'd like to hope that they're assessing them all accurately and they know which one is a coffee and which one is a formal application.
Indeed, you would like to think they had good governance and processes, yes.
It's very important in this sort of government space. Yes. Okay, so so the answer to the question is you tried, but you didn't really get to put an application in.
Correct, and we will be having that conversation with their Director General in due course.
Okay, that's good.
We have received funding from another organisation, a small amount, and we are in the process of going through an approval process for funding with at least 2 other organisations. And we intend on applying for a Mesh Points grant, and we have started that process as well.
Great. Just back to that email that you got from this. Was it an email that you got from the state government?
Yes, it was.
And so they had assessed your application that hadn't actually been made.
Yes.
Out of interest, did they approve or decline it?
They declined it,
Right.
but I'm not sure where they got the information from, given I hadn't actually supplied them anything.
This is going to be illuminating for them and for others. So in our own way, we have assisted state government get some of their procedures better, we hope, for the future.
Indeed, Lord Mayor.
And I thank you for that contribution, Marion, and we'll invite any further questions from any of my fellow elected members. Marion, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for your help. Marion Birchall, Zola Holdings. Okay, we're going to move now to deputation number 8. And I'm inviting Danelle Cross, representing West Tech Fest, speaking for the recommendation in item 12.5, to come forward. Hello, Danelle. As you've heard from others in the room, and thank you to those who are leaving for being here tonight. Your name, your address, and then away you go. Thank you.
Danelle Cross, Curtin University, Kent Street in Bentley, and also 57 and 78 Murray Street in Perth. Thank you, everyone, and thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Danelle Cross, and I'm the Director of Entrepreneurship at Curtin University, and part of my portfolio is the management of West Tech Fest. And West Tech Fest is a tech and innovation festival running in the city of Perth since 2012. It is a celebration of Perth's startup ecosystem, showcasing innovation, investment and entrepreneurship. And the festival itself has grown considerably and is now Australia's largest and longest running tech festival. The festival main conference and tech showcase is run in the city of Perth and alongside a number of satellite events each year, and that is growing. The City of Perth have been a founding supporter of the festival. Of that, we are extremely grateful, and they've helped the festival to grow considerably, particularly over the last 4 years. In 2022, so last year, we grew the festival to attract over 3,000 attendees. From an economic perspective, the festival's attracted visitation from all corners of the globe, and we've got a growing national and international audience. Festival attendance grew 200% in the last 4 years. Our digital audience has grown 280%. And we really believe that we're poised to grow the festival to attract a greater number of national and international guests. The festival has a deep focus on diversity and inclusion. We run a number of events throughout the program for young entrepreneurs, also First Nations entrepreneurs and female founders and investors as well. The West Tech Fest also aligns very well with the Tech Action Plan, attracting global talent and coordinated approach to initiatives. In summary, West Tech Fest is dedicated to spotlighting the achievements of local startups on stage within the City of Lights. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Danelle. Greatly appreciated. There's nothing from me. I wonder if there's anything from any of my fellow elected members. Councillor Angie.
I'll ask the Deputy Lord Mayor's question, seeing though he hasn't put his hand up this time, but what's the impact if you don't receive the amount that you've requested?
The full amount?
Yep.
Yes, thank you. Look, I think there were 2 components to our ask. One is a multi-year ask, which really enables sustainability of the festival, which is really important for a festival of this size. Receiving slightly less amount than what we had asked will have an impact on what we can deliver and how much we can deliver, both during the festival and outside of the festival. So one of our aims with the increased ask this year was to extend West Tech Fest beyond that particular week. So that will have an impact on how much we can do that. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Angie. And nothing further looking around the chamber. So, Danelle, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And good luck with this year's event. City of Perth very proud to support West Tech Fest, not preempting any decision of council next week, of course. Now, we're going to move to item 14.1, for which I have disclosed an indirect financial interest. So I'm going to ask the Deputy Lord Mayor to come forward and preside over the meeting in my absence. Deputy Lord Mayor, if you'd be good enough to come forward. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now invite Mrs. Heidi Shaddock and Mr. James Shaddock, who are speaking against the recommendation in item 14.1, to please come forward. Thank you. And you have 5 minutes shared tag team event if you want, or one. Or
Be between us.
one each,
be me.
sure. 5 minutes.
And
thanks.
to give you my address and our address.
Please.
Heidi Shaddock at Unit 3, 4 Gladstone Avenue in South Perth.
James Shaddock, same address.
James and I are the owners of a unit in the apartment complex at 36 Kings Park Road, West Perth, which is adjacent to Altona Laneway. We're here tonight to voice our concerns about the lack of transparency in the process and the lack of strategy in respect to the sale of Altona Laneway in West Perth. We acknowledge that while the process has met the requirements of policy and relevant regulations, it does not feel as though it has been transparent. From an outsider's perspective, it appears that the deal is underhand, as there has been a lack of information on the details of the proposed purchase. While we appreciate the commercial in confidence nature of the proposed deal, there has been no information provided about which 177 square metres of the laneway is being proposed for purchase, or what the purchaser intends to do with the laneway. This is clearly causing some frustration. From the point of view of community expectations, organisations, and particularly public organisations, should more often stand back and consider whether what's in front of them should be done, even though it can be done because all the processes, policy and regulatory boxes have been ticked. A lack of strategy around the sale of laneways in West Perth is implicit in the draft response to many of the concerns raised in the public notice process, and in particular that the proposed easement will continue to provide full public access pending the outcome of the West Perth Laneway study. We note, however, that the study will not be completed until early 2024. It seems odd that the decision to sell Altona Laneway is being made when accessibility issues are not fully understood. It is our view that the council is running the risk that public access is unable to be retained when it needs to be, or that the outcome from the study, the outcome for Altona Laneway is inconsistent with findings of the future study. It would make more sense for the study to be completed before council considers the disposal of the laneway. We are therefore against the recommendation to approve the disposal of Altona Laneway. And thank you all for your time tonight.
Thank you very much for your deputation. I'll throw to the councillors first for any questions. Councillor Leeser, please.
Thank you so much. Did you have an opportunity to put in a submission already as well?
Yes, we've done that as well.
Thank you.
Councillors, further questions? No, thank you for coming along this evening.
No worries.
Greatly
Thank you.
appreciated.
Thank you.
I will now invite the Lord Mayor to resume the chair.
Thank you very much, Deputy Lord Mayor. So we continue on with our agenda for tonight. Item 7 is confirmation of minutes. 8 questions by members which due notice has been given. 9 is correspondence and 10 is petitions, all of which will be dealt with at the ordinary council meeting next week. So we're going to move to reports now. And as we move through the reports, I'm going to ask if any councillors have questions in relation to the items. The first of which is 11, Planning and Economic Development Alliance reports. 11.1, preparation of amendment number 50 to City Planning Scheme number 2, new special control area. Any questions, councillors? No? Thank you. Blank sheet there. Is that Charlie? Is that right? Blank there. They're meant to be blank? Yeah, that one. Yep. Thank you. 11.2 is final adoption of amendment number 47, City Planning Scheme number 2, and amendment number 5 to Local Planning Scheme number 26, Normalised Redevelopment Areas, Royal Perth Hospital Flight Path Protection Special Control Area. It won't be named, Councillor Gobbett, that's just the full name for it. So, do any questions, are there any questions? Only, Councillor Leeser, if there is a question, we'll ask you to leave. Are there any questions? There are none. So, Councillor Leeser, as you were. 11.3 is the preparation of amendment number 51 to City Planning Scheme number 2 to introduce an additional use healthcare 2 to 99, lot 10, Adelaide Terrace, 10 and 40, lots 11 and 12, Terrace Road, East Perth. We do have impartiality interests, as I've mentioned, from one of our general managers and Councillor Bevan. Do we have any questions relating to these or this item? We do not. So thank you, and thank you to our guests. If this is the time that you might be leaving us, thank you very much, and thanks again for being here. We appreciate it very much. 11.4 is the Sustainable City Report. I know there were some questions from Councillor Leeser. Anything further, Councillor, or any other councillors?
No, that's fine. Thank you, Lord Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor Leeser. Councillors? Nope. 11.5, Forgotten Spaces, Revitalising Perth's Laneways. Episode 2. Is that the word we're using? Episode? Okay. Episode. Are there any questions on this item? How are you going over there, Mr. Bevan? Everything all right? Good. Okay. 11.6, Urban Greening Strategy, 2023-2036. Councillors? Great, thank you. 11.7 is Wellington Street Clearway. Councillors? Thank you. 12, Community Development Alliance Reports. 12.1 is the review of Council Policy 4.7, Cultural Collections. Thank you to our staff who are now leaving as well. Any questions, councillors? No? Thank you. 12.2, review of Council Policies 4.8, Public Art, and 4.9, Commemorative Works. Councillors? No. 12.3, Major Events and Festivals Sponsorship, Perth Festival 2024. Any questions, team? 12.4, Arts and Cultures Sponsorships 2023-2024. Councillors? 12.5, 2023-2024 Economic Development Sponsorship, West Tech Fest and Singularity U, Perth. Councillors? Yes, Councillor Leeser.
We did hear from the deputant about Singularity U. So I wonder if I could just get a little bit of comment from about the money and about the amount that they wanted and they're not getting.
Yes, understood. CEO?
If I could direct through to the General Manager, Community Development.
Thank you, through the Lord Mayor. So the previous sponsorship was for $5,000. It was for a pilot project in 2021. So the recommendation is a significant increase on the previous amount. In considering the full request for $50,000, it was noted that some of the final details weren't provided in the submission, such as where the day would be held, so where it would be occurring, who the speakers were, and the technologies were all yet to be confirmed. So on that basis, we didn't believe it was commensurate with the request. Thank you.
And a follow-up, please, Lord Mayor. And so if, as was suggested, do you think that there is an opportunity for venue support or in-kind support once details are further known?
Directly through to the GM.
Through the Lord Mayor, in regards to sponsorship, when they apply for a program, it is one consideration for all that is provided. So the additional $15,000 that's been put forward in this recommendation, so the total being $20,000, does recommend the opportunity for growth and development already.
Thank you, GM.
One last one.
Yes,
sorry.
certainly, Councillor Lee.
Sorry, Lord Mayor.
No apology necessary.
If this was to be, I know it's on our papers, but could it be withdrawn and then once information was further known, could it be resubmitted, or are we past the time frame for this?
CEO, happy to go through the GM? Yeah, thank you.
Through the Lord Mayor, in regards to going through into the caretaker period, we worked very quickly trying to get this application forward for consideration and to give some consideration for the applicant.
Yes, thank you, Lord Mayor. I forgot about the caretaker period.
Thank you, Councillor Leeser. Are there any further questions on item 12.5? Thanks, councillors. We'll go to 13, Infrastructure and Operations Alliance reports. We do not have any tonight. Item 14, if there are any questions, I'm going to depart. So I'll just get an indication. This is 14.1. 14 is Commercial Services Alliance reports, and 14.1, Altona Laneway Part 100 on P1419 West Perth, property disposal outcome of local public notice. Do we have any questions or follow-ups? We do. So, Councillor Angie, thank you. If you could sit tight as I invite the Deputy Lord Mayor to come forward. I'll leave it.
Thank you, Councillor Angie.
Thanks, Deputy Lord Mayor. I asked a series of questions. I've got answers in writing for most of those, but just a couple of follow-ups. So with this laneway study that the city refers to, when did the city decide to carry out this West Perth laneway study?
Thank you, Councillor Angie, and through to the General Manager.
Yes, thank you. General Manager, Planning and Economic Development, please.
Thank you. Through you, Deputy Lord Mayor. So noting that we've got a Forgotten Spaces strategy that we are bedding down hopefully next week for Perth and Northbridge. The request that has come through for this one is not the first request or interest that has been shown in acquiring land in West Perth, so we decided it was appropriate to expand on the Forgotten Spaces strategy by looking at a laneway study for West Perth. It was a decision taken internally, and there is money in the budget to do that work.
Thank you, General Manager, and welcome to Councillor Gordon, who's joined us. Councillor Angie, were there any further questions?
Yeah, a couple more. So because I wasn't aware of the study, so that hasn't been communicated to us previously.
Is that the question?
Yeah, that's the question. Was it communicated to us previously?
Has it been communicated to it? Yeah. General Manager, thanks.
Through you, Lord Mayor, I'm not sure that every single minor operational project is communicated to elected members separately. Certainly is wrapped up in the budget, and it has been included in this report for elected member information.
Thank you, General Manager. Councillor Angie?
Oh yeah, I guess I'm the one who put forward the Forgotten Spaces Part 2, so I thought I didn't recall it in the context of discussion. But another question, it says, in relation to a number of questions raised in the submissions where they talk about access, and the answer from the administration is the proposed easement will continue to provide full public access pending the outcome. So that seems like that's not a definite continuation of public access if it's pending an outcome.
Thank you, Councillor. Just bear with us for 2 seconds. Thank you, General Manager. Thank you.
Thank you, through the Deputy Lord Mayor. The idea of the study will help determine whether that portion of the laneway is actually required or not.
Thank you. Were there any further questions, councillors? Councillor Angie, thanks.
I didn't ask this one previously, but have we sold a laneway or part of a laneway before as the city?
As a city? Yeah. Big question.
Has the city sold a laneway before?
I don't think in the time that we've been here. But I'll
Maybe
through to the General Manager, Commercial Services.
Through the Deputy Lord Mayor, not that we're aware of.
CEO, thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. Can we take that on notice, please?
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
Looking around the room, not seeing any further questions. No, I will then invite the Lord Mayor to rejoin us. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. I'm not certain whether you acknowledged that Councillor Gordon has been able... You have. And I will now acknowledge that Councillor Gordon is with us and that Councillor Bevan has some company on the right side of the room. Did you acknowledge that part, DLE? Yeah. Okay. Item 15 is corporate services reports. 15.1 is the interim monthly financial statements, June 2023. Councillors, any questions? 15.2, schedule of accounts paid, June 2023. Do we have any questions, councillors? Thank you. 15.3 is the review of financial policies. Which ones, I hear you say? Thank you for asking. CP 2.1, CP 2.3, CP 2.4, CP 2.5, CP 2.6, CP 2.9 and CP 2.10. Any questions, councillors?
Thank you, Lord Mayor.
Lord Mayor.
Just with regards to CP 2.10, what is the risk of retaining this policy, and is the city able to continue along with the practice, or is it too far aligned from what the city is proposing that can otherwise be done as part of the alternate practice?
CEO?
If I could invite the Chief Financial Officer to respond to that question, please.
Thank you. Through the Chair. That particular policy was one that was introduced for a very specific set of circumstances, only related to financial hardship, specifically because of the COVID pandemic. Since the ministerial order for that was removed, that policy is effectively redundant. Whether it stayed or not, it has no impact. However, the city is always welcoming people who may be experiencing financial difficulty to make contact with us. We have a detailed operational procedure which enables us to support those affected ratepayers.
Thanks, CFO. DLM, anything further? And any further questions from any councillors? Okay, 15.4. Review of Council Policy 2.16, Complaints Management. Councillors, any questions? Councillor Gordon.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Can I just query why we're seeking to put a 1-month limitation period on complaints to be submitted?
Thanks, Councillor Gordon. CEO.
Thank you. With the absence of the General Manager Commercial, if I could maybe invite the Executive Director Governance and Policy to respond to that.
Thank you very much. Through the Lord Mayor, what we've done is tried to make it consistent with the complaints management policy for elected members. So just to bring the two into line.
Any further questions, councillors?
Is this not the policy for elected members?
Back through to the Executive Director. Yeah.
Thank you, through the Lord Mayor. No, there is an additional policy. So this is for staff and elected members, and then there is also a policy for elected members under the Local Government Act.
Any further questions, councillors? Councillor Angie.
So sorry, just confirming the answer. This applies to both staff and councillors.
That's correct.
And then there's a separate one that's just for councillors.
Yes, that's correct, under the Local Government Act. And
so why is there two then, if there's overlap?
So the council policy under the Local Government Act is for individual complaints against elected members, whereas this policy provides for management of general complaints related to the city's products, services, employees, and the handling of complaints.
So not elected members then?
Yes, elected members are covered by this as well.
Oh, I see. Also covered by it.
That's correct.
Understood. Okay. Any further questions, councillors? Thank you. Councillor Andrew, just get you to turn your microphone off. So, we move then to 16, and that is Chief Executive Officer reports, and 16.1 is Council resolutions reporting. Councillors, any questions? 16, that is the 16s. 17, committee reports. 17.1, ARC report, review of the Audit and Risk Committee terms of reference. Councillors, any questions? Thank you. 18 is motions of which notice has been given, and that will be dealt with at the ordinary council meeting next week. 19. Matters for which the meeting may be closed. Items 19.1 and 19.2 are designated confidential in accordance with sections 5.232C and 5.232A of the Local Government Act 1995. If any councillors have questions relating to these items, we will need to move behind closed doors and pause the live stream. Councillors, indication of any questions? Yes, we do. So that being the case, I'm going to now restart the live stream. Thank you. Item 20 is urgent business, and this matter will be dealt with at the ordinary council meeting. And 21, there being no further business, I will now declare the agenda briefing session closed at 6:32 p.m. and thank councillors and administration for their attendance and their attention. Thank you, everybody.
Could you all please rise for the Right Honourable the Lord Mayor of Perth, Mr Basil Zempilas.